These animals were here already in this house also. And it was one inspector that was actually so concerned about how am I going to keep the place clean inside of the home room, and was actually giving me even a timeline like that needs to be cleaned up and stuff like this before he pop up here and stuff, all kinds of stuff like that. Just fucking incredible stuff. Oh. You see all those candles right there? This is just fucking candle mania, completely, totally taken over. We're gonna do a little health update now here. The cancer can be felt here in this area. When I was laying down, I could feel bulged up this area, not only this area here. You can feel one here in this area. This is normal. They were panicking me with this stuff during MK Ultra about entire this area here, all this. The thing is, it's all normal. This is all normal, this stuff here. All this. And you can actually feel it in pain and stuff like this. During MK Ultra, they were panicking with this stuff. Exactly the same thing, completely identical, everything identical. Father was meeting me at home for elderly people, asking me that I'm dying, and the neighbor here, Igor, caught her that this is it, and so on. They were showing me the pictures of the surgeries, how it's blood and this and that. Let me demonstrate you exactly what created this stuff. In 2010, they boosted this thing. I didn't have any of this stuff here. It was the police that would feed me with the blood sausages. They loaded me with the blood sausages. They just had me eat blood sausages and pudding and stuff like this. Exactly this here. Let me demonstrate you. It's a menu from 2011 with which they boosted cancer. They boosted one. It's like copy paste everything that I go through. It's like copy paste diet, the way mother prepares. Copy paste, basically. They boosted with the garbage these things, and I boosted them, but I think that they physically, manually, that they redistributed, massaging this shit, squeezing it, and so on. They are the one. They did this stuff. This shit is already like this since 2010. Police, literally police during MK Ultra, I could feel it. They talked about how they saved my life with walking to Marijaške Toplice and back, that kind of stuff. They were fantasizing about how they were saving my life, man. Right there, copy paste. This the main reason for this cancerization were Igor Juršič and Andrej Štefanič, and see, this is where the cancer always was, this area here, and this is basically where they spread this cancer onto this entire area here, this side here, and this goes to 2010. And what they were doing is they fed with the sausages for crazy periods of time with the blood sausages. Yeah, that looked like they were gonna kill me. 2009 and 2010. which is interesting because, and it's really not interesting because these very same people, Igor Juršič and Andrej Štefanič, afterwards were giving the explanation on how actually these blood sausages should be prepared not to be cancerous. Then what they did was they went ahead and they started to teach me not to bake them too much, and etc., etc., etc. So they video recorded themselves afterwards, after they already spread the cancer through all this area here. They went on to give me a lesson on why even the sausages should not be baked too much, and etc., etc. Mother prepares that shit. I prepared it maybe 5 times that I prepared those 5 blood sausages. And then I realized that this quickly was turning bad, and I just stopped. And so stuff they were doing not only was connected to spreading cancer, to trigger the cancer in the body, but they actually were using it to spread the cancer. They cancerized with the blood sausages, beginning 2009, 2008, 2009, 2010. That's how they spread the cancer. And then they stopped. What they would do is they would feed with the blood sausages for extensive periods of time. Like 1 week, nothing other than fucking blood sausages and shit. Igor Juršič and Andrej Štefanič. And change the diet and then start again pushing that shit down the throat. When you don't want to eat that stuff, they would feed only with the blood sausages. On other occasions, they would be feeding only with eggs. You would get, therefore, only one kind of food for extensive periods of time. Crazy shit. Sometimes I felt cold. I felt inside of my intestines, I felt cold. When you feel cold inside of the intestine, it's because it's rotting inside. That's the stuff they were doing during MK Ultra. They would deliver me to the father at the home for elderly people, and I would be doing basically the exercise that I do with him, move his legs and stuff, and he would be acting like asking me, oh, well, you have a cancer, so you have a cancer, so you are dying, you too are dying, so you too are dying, like this. This is what they were doing. Force me to do exercise like this with the father, so that father could be asking me questions like that. On another occasion, it would be Igor Kotar, physician, Dr. Igor Kotar, who would be telling me, acting like it's all normal, and saying to me, oh, acting like it's all normal that you have a cancer. Like these were the impressions they were giving. Like it's all normal that you have a cancer. Like that you are dying from the cancer. Talking to me like, oh, so like it's normal, like you have a cancer, like you're dying from the cancer, like so. Oh, so yeah, so you have this, yeah, like completely normal, like in such a way so that I would feel guilty, blamed for the cancer, and they blamed for what would be a cancer, the lack of exercise. The stuff they were doing, it was also Kate Middleton, she said, she kept drilling me. The same way, exactly identical way, to make me feel like I am the one who caused the cancer. So you, it's going to be one spring, it's going to be in the spring, and you're going to start walking, and you're going to start exercising, and you're going to start walking extensive periods of time and so on. And it's going to be too late and this and that. In that sense, basically make you, even if you would want to go walk and do exercise and stuff like this, feel that you caused cancer. This was toxic, most criminal possible way, so that you would be walking around and facing with issue the cancer and with the memories on how they were talking to you, that you did not walk enough in the winter time, that you did not walk, that you did not exercise, and so on. Well, I am glad I did practically not walk for about 6 months, because this way I at least learned finally which foods are good and which foods are not good for me. Plus that I was in such a bad shape when it comes to cancer-wise, I believe intestines and so on, liver, kidneys, whatever they did, that I replicated issues pertaining to MK Ultra. I had eardrums all the time popping in and out. I told you about that stuff. That was the kind of stuff they enforced during MK Ultra. And just like during MK Ultra, what I would do is, instead of sitting like this or standing up, my spine was completely fucked up. Sitting like this already caused enormous injury. Laying down was causing enormous injury. Walking around, it felt like with a pain in my right toe, literally extending from the spine all the way to the right toe. And pain in the spine, like you would have a pain, bulge disc type of stuff. It made me feel like I am made out of two pieces, basically, like an upper piece of the body and lower piece of the body. And the stuff that I am actually describing is identical to the one police talked to me about during MK Ultra. Investigators that were laughing in my face. Giving myself a chance that after I would consume food, eat, I would rather lay down and let the food be processed in a lay down position rather than standing up position, which helped me probably extend amount of life, I am sure, for about 6 months. I don't know how would it be if I would continue the way it was, but maybe I wouldn't even be alive today. Who the fuck knows what is going on? This is how bad this stuff was and is. And so now when I know the food that I should eat and the food that I should avoid, I will restart the exercise and I will continue to walk and do the stuff. And so it might be that I might have saved myself life. It might have been that I just extended myself whatever I have left out of life. I did the job. I completed the job in respect to 9/11, in respect to MK Ultra, because even when I could possibly not sleep enough, with 4 hours of sleep, and sleep that was horror, the whole thing, I still worked with the eyes, with the glasses that I have. They are no good for the nearsight. I'm really, when it comes to the nearsightedness, 50% really disabled. They are good on a distance, but when it comes to the close, I am just not using the glasses because I see twice better without the glasses than with the glasses. That's how bad this stuff is. Everything on the computer was done without the glasses. That's how bad this stuff is. And so the time that I stayed indoors this time, 6 months, it was worth gold in terms of the stuff that I was doing. I don't regret, not even a little bit. Whatever the fuck I was doing, I had a mindset directed on completion of the stuff I was doing. And so it's priceless. It's not possible for me to, and maybe would not even be possible done ever if I wouldn't have done it the way I did. And the way I did is a state of the art. So no, I don't regret. Even whatever the consequences out of this stuff would be, I deemed that this was absolutely necessary to, just like you would be saving your life, basically, to get this stuff done. There was no other way, no shortcut, no easy way out of this. No easy way out of this stuff. When I came from Poland in 2020, I was so determined to do everything the proper way. But what I encountered here was completely insane mother that was driving insane with the bills. She was eating me on in and out with the bills. You don't pay this, you don't pay that. This costs so much. You only think about the food. This was her main thing. It was you only think about the food so that she could load me with the garbage. She was buying cookies. She was buying chips. She loaded with it. And I deemed that as long as I exercise and stuff like this, everything is going to be all right. It's going to be just fine. It's going to go past like nothing. And I underestimated just how much damage they have done to me inside of this house through the poisoning. Father was pissing at night at the entrance to my room. When I was inside of the room, he went and he pissed at night at the entrance of the room. I actually believe that Father wanted to go to Home for Elderly People so that I would have this room. I could survive, because my room is, I believe that it's so cancerous, that room. It's a flooring that is so cancerous. And they told me that they're not going to be removing the flooring because of the MK Ultra, which went on, because of the people that were inside of the room and stuff like this, which I really don't understand what the point that would be, because I vacuumed it and stuff, and so I don't know how the fuck that would be. But they insisted that the room is totally cancerous because of the flooring. It's, I don't know how you say that, tapison, the flooring is such that is so cancerous. Yeah, and there is mold inside, and I believe that Father alone wanted to go to save me. For me to complete this project is what I'm trying to say. For me to complete this project. This fucking crazy project. Might have not been the case, who the hell knows? Father did talk to me about that he's going to give me his car and even about this kind of stuff, but I don't know how much he would want to go to Home for Elderly People like this. Whether the police was the one that made him talk shit like this, did he even know what the fuck he was talking about? I spoke to him day before yesterday I spoke to him, and he was kind of a positive. I think that he knows exactly about the stuff that I do, the stuff that how much I managed to complete, and so on. Maybe, who knows? But the way this stuff was done, it was done in such a way that, my God, you would fucking regret walking when you're walking out there. You would fucking hate walking. You would fucking hate yourself, basically, for being alive. Kate Middleton was talking to me about these things, about the importance of the walking and stuff like that. So they spread the cancer onto you, and then what they want is basically for you, teach you basically for you alone to maintain one. Just as much as they need, obviously, for the project to be completed. These are fucking beasts. They are not people, they are beasts. They're beasts. Ain't nothing special about cancer, I'll tell you that much. I read the news today in the mainstream media about the 5,000 years old ice cave bacteria resistant to, I don't know, antibiotic or something like that. Might not be bacteria, what is it? Some kind of a super bug or whatever. And it was the news that was involved in MK Ultra, for which Americans told me, we're going to publish this news if you're still going to be alive, and if you still be doing okay. Compared me with the bugs resistant to antibiotics and I don't know, stuff like this. This wasn't the only news like this. They were using other news for which they wanted me to feel that I'm doing something extraordinary to stay alive through health problems they created. They were definitely certain that I would be dead. It was a lot of news like this that suggested that I would be already long under the buried, based on predictions of Borut Pahor, Slovenian communists. They couldn't stand the idea about my being alive. It's identical thing when it comes to Britain Americans. Who the fuck knows? Maybe even worse. This is really sick people. I find it insane when I think about their stuff they were doing, the lies, the way they wash brain, even how they were manually with the mouse killing the cancer in my body, targeting one and stuff like that. Sick shit, man. Pathological, insane stuff. The MK Ultra is a lot of feelings, a lot of impressions, fake impressions, lies they instill in your mind, based on which they believe you will be moving around, basically function in the real world. This is disgusting. It's a beast, and they don't want to know nothing about it. That's interesting. What's interesting is they give you the rather description of the mental illnesses I just read on the internet that would in a great way match description of the stuff I was talking about. talking voices are renting space in my head. This is just a humorous way that I put it. And basically, hearing voices or having persistent unwanted conversations in your head, sometimes described as renting space, is common human experience that can range from harmless internal monologue to symptoms requiring professional attention. I don't have any voices in my head. I never heard any voices in my head, but I can replicate the voices that I would refer to voices in my head when describing the crime I was subjected to. I know the whole vocabulary, the list of words that, for instance, investigators were using whenever interacting with me. I can describe, he is now a king of Britain, King Charles, and Andrew, and Edward, and Anne, how they act privately, the way they communicate, the way they probably even words, the type of words they use. And those are not talking voices in my head. You understand? That's basically the ability to describe people who engaged in torture, people who engaged in brainwash. And so, but when you read this stuff here, the way it's written everything. My case is different from, I don't have any kind of talking voices. That is true. However, I deem that the way they describe the issues pertaining to talking voices, renting space in the head, I believe they describe this issue as extremely humiliating for a lot of people who are subjected to MK Ultra, discouraging them, basically equaling absolutely everything to mental illness, discouraging people from pursuing investigation of their own about the stuff that went on. I think it's, when it comes to MK Ultra, I think it's a lot of people actually subjected to MK Ultra, a lot of more people. I was definitely not the only person. This is what bothers me. I agree with it. You're not supposed to have any kind of talking voices in your head. If you have a talking voices in your head, that really requires psychiatric attention. If you have a talking voices in your head, I think that's a very severe mental disorder, that you have a really serious problem. I don't even know how the fuck I would put up with talking voices in my head. But do I have the ability to recall talking voices? I should say voices of the people who participated in MK Ultra. Yes, I do. And the way they spoke to me, and their vocabulary, the words they used, yes, and the way the conduct is, the way they speak. There is a problem with this stuff. Do you know what the problem is? The problem is that there is a fine difference. Because the stuff, the way it's written in such a way so that it would cover my case. Stuff that I do that would line me up in a group of schizophrenics, paranoids, whatever. How do they they call this a schizophrenia, they call this bipolar disorder, they call this severe depression or dissociative disorder. You understand? So what they do is, the way they write this text, the way they write the text in a such a way so that it would almost, if you don't describe properly the stuff that I spoke about, cover you with basically what they describe as a bipolar, schizophrenia, etc., etc. This is where the problem is. This is where my problem is. They are not oriented on possibility. There might be people out there that were actually subjected to MK Ultra, and that is not what mental health profession should be all about. Mental health profession should be, after all about assisting, helping people. And mental health profession, based on the writing that we see right there, is more concerned about cover-up, crime cover-up, more than anything else. That makes mental health profession extremely doubtful in my eyes. Look at this stuff, and this is exactly the stuff. This is exactly the stuff that what they're describing. They're describing exactly the stuff that this psychiatrist coach wanted me to deal with it. Trauma or grief, post-traumatic experiences or loss can trigger voices, stress, anxiety, or worry. High levels of stress can make mind overactive, causing internal dialogue to become loud, nagging, or self-critical. I have no fucking idea. What I can say to you that the stuff that was done to me was designed to be, you see this here, self-critical, you see this stuff here? You can be nagging, you can be loud, and etc., if you don't analyze about the stuff that went on during MK Ultra. But when you understand what stuff that they were doing, you're not loud, you're not nagging, you're not etc., overactive internal dialogue. The point here is that MK Ultra will drive you absolutely insane. It's designed to build insecurity in you and even self-criticism. That's why it's so difficult for me to read this stuff, because I know how the police was misusing MK Ultra. Then you have here, it says trauma, grief, post-traumatic experiences, loss can trigger voices. I never had any voices in my head, like I said. And if I would have voices in my head, I don't even know what the fuck I would do. That I don't know. That would be a really problem. Physical factor, extreme tiredness, hunger, or high fever can cause temporary harmless auditory experiences. How much power brain use bulb? The human brain operates at approximately 12 to 25 watt of power, which is roughly equivalent of the energy required to light a dim, small LED or low voltage light bulb. Did you people know this? Despite representing only 2% of the body mass, it consumes 20% of the body energy to manage 86 billion neurons, functioning 24/7. I am demonstrating you this stuff because when you do a lot of brain work, whether you like it or not, requires the energy. And what's going to happen is it's going to be a hunger factor. Because why? Because you want to power brain. And brain needs food to be powered. You cannot put the energy out of the air. It does not function like that. So I have the problem also with this issue here. There is a very fine line between what they misinterpret as certain mental issues and what in reality is procedure known as MK Ultra, which they just simply refuse to acknowledge as existing. Don't even say to protect elites, because people knew all about, so many people involved in this stuff knew all about it. never use any drugs, any alcohol. Like I said, I never had any voices in my head. Mental health conditions. Do I have the ability to hear people speak? Yes, I do have the ability to recall people that would be talking to me. Literally, I can feel the way they were talking to me to the such degree that I could hear them actually say that. I don't hear voices, like I said, but the way they talk, I could imitate. Can you fucking imitate somebody? You go out there and you hear somebody talking to you. Can you imitate him? I understand there is professionals that imitate people when the people talk. So how the fuck could that be mental illness? Fucking explain to me, how the fuck could that be a mental illness? I have a big problem with the way they explain things to people, the way they write about this stuff, with accent on denial of existence of MK Ultra. How can the people like this be mental health professionals? How can these people be mental health professionals? How? And or what exactly then is mental health profession? What is the psychiatry? What is the psychology? I have a problem. Of course I have a problem with this. How to manage and evict voices. If these voices are causing distress, it is important to take steps to manage them, etc., etc., etc. No, if you ever hear voices in your head, that is voices in your head, you hear voices in your head, in my personal opinion, because you have very serious damages, brain damages somehow. Something is going on with you. Maybe you're taking some kind of medication, maybe you're taking some kind of vitamins, maybe you are taking something that is causing a tremendous imbalance in your brain, and it's important for you to go to a physician and check yourself. Foremost, I would advise you to go, or maybe somebody is sipping something to you in the food, or maybe you had some kind of injury, maybe you had head injury, maybe you have a car accident, maybe you have a bad fall or something like that. I would immediately advise you to go to physician, doctor, and foremost, because that will be a case, I believe, with most of the people, check your imbalance of vitamins, of crucial. You might have something, okay, that is just not regulated properly in your body and is giving brain neural damage, something that is just could develop on a long term into a serious permanent problem. That's all there is when it comes to these voices. Don't take drugs, don't drink alcohol. This is the type of injuries that will do this kind of stuff. Injuries, what I'm trying to say, this is the type of stuff that will create these types of injuries. So yeah, I kind of wanted to clarify this stuff about this kind of stuff here. I do have a problem with the way they describe this stuff, especially, like I said, because they don't want to recognize that MK Ultra exists. Like, I had an animal from Novo Mesto police station who was the same animal that was in the cancer throughout this area here, together with Igor Juršič, beginning 2008. 2 years they were boosting the cancer. 2 years they were boosting the cancer in me. This here, they infested with the cancer. 2 years. Blood sausages were mostly used to spread, to cancerize. And make one controllable, obviously, through the long hiking, that kind of stuff. Igor Juršič and Andrej Štefanič were laughing about this stuff. It was a big, big, big success. They went on and they demonstrated this stuff. And so cancer is manageable. Equaling MKUltra torture bestiality. This was Andrej Štefanič, the guy who was the most deserved for spreading the cancer here, together with Igor Juršič. He told me in 2024 that MKUltra is a form of telepathy. That's basically communicating, I never did in my life, with another person through the air, reading mind to other people, and other people reading your mind. This is a lunatic, a murderer, a killer, assassin who was laughing in my face. He was laughing in my face, like I audio recorded him saying that I communicated with another police officer telepathically, that I told him this. How the fuck can this stuff be okay? How can this be okay? So yes, do I have a problem with the writings like this? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. It's not about that you're not taking it seriously. You're taking it extremely serious. I believe that doing stuff like this to people is extreme. This goes into extreme. It goes into total extreme. You are fucking extremists, radicalists, lunatics. Lunatics on steroids are protected by the police badges, courts, police, and people alone. So many people that was implicated in this stuff. Silence. So this is like, you talk about that you don't like bullying. I see the Prince Harry going around and flashing around about the online bullying. That is about online bullying. It was already implicated in MKUltra, with Mark Zuckerberg clearly taking down a lot of videos where the F words were used, that kind of stuff, through the automated system. Because, of course, Zuckerberg is not doing that stuff anymore. Now that stuff is all automated through the meta, so-called artificial intelligence, just like an algorithm from YouTube and so on. So now it's all automated. So I do have a problem with people like this. When you are killing people right out on a plain sight, murdering people, and writing to people shit over there on the internet. If they want to investigate about, even think about investigate about the ability to prove that you interacted with a certain people, that you can, based on communication, based on their voices, based on their vocabulary, based on their behavior, the way they behave, the way they act in front of you and so on, that you have capacity to do this stuff, explain how they act in private, how they behave, replicate their voices, that is a schizophrenia. That's not a schizophrenia. And that doesn't have anything to do with the talking voices, you know what I mean? So I have a big problem with it. If you misinterpret and you miscategorize, you come so approximately to me, and you basically sort of miscategorize me in a group of people that might actually have mental problems. You know, I have a big fucking problem, because you're not specialists. You're not specialists. The specialist means that you are specialized in a certain area, in a certain whatever the hell you do, whether that be medical field or whatever it be, and you know exactly how to discern between things. You are actually posploševanje. I don't know how you say that. You are making it all in the same category. You are something else. You're butchers, to put it plain and simple. You're not psychiatrists. You're not psychologists. You're butchers. You're butchers. You go into the category of the butchers, people that are specialized to cover up, basically. Cleans under pretense that it was for something else, when in reality, you alone, you ran the crime. Extermination procedure in this case. So I do have a lot of problem with this kind of stuff. A lot of fucking problems with this. You took zero initiative to help. You took zero initiative to understand, and you did absolutely everything possible to misguide, to mislead, to lie, to misinterpret, etc. Big problem with it. I cannot find anywhere his name, but his name was actually, I quite exposed these people as much as I possibly could, and all these psychiatrists. There is no way I can find any picture of this Zoran Mudža, that I would find him somewhere, but that's his name. His name is Zoran Mudža, like this. This animal from the psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje in Slovenia, he claimed during the hospitalization, he would call me, summon me into his office. He had his own office in this psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje, and he would start the conversation, how is with the talking voices in my head? And I said to him, pardon me? Excuse me? I don't understand what exactly you are referring to. And this is when they had me hospitalized at the psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje. This is how he spoke to me. This absolute Serbian animal. Absolute Serbian animal. And I said, pardon me, please, excuse me, but I'm not sure exactly what you are talking about. And he said to me, you know what he said to me? Yeah, but you complained to me the other day about talking voices in your head. This is how psychiatrists talk. I wouldn't call even this stuff lying, because this animal was involved in MK Ultra, but the way I'm gonna say even disrespected, the way he spoke to me at psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje is just unprecedented, and was directed to go hear psychiatrists such as psychiatrist Kapsch and psychiatrist Prokschel, and there was another psychiatrist. They were all asking about voices in my head. None of the videos, 2,000 videos probably, more than 2,000 videos, you will ever hear me, see me talking about voices in my head. Never spoke about voices in my head. I said that I could hear investigators literally when they were brainwashing me on certain issues. I could basically in my head replicate their voice, their instructions, the way, and other people, the way they brainwashed on certain topics, on certain issues, or speak to me outside, because they were taking me on a hiking trails and stuff like that. But I never had any kind of voices in my head. So I want to kind of include this issue also in this video. You have to fight. You have to stand up for your right. In other words, you have to expose this scum. Never ever stop questioning and investigating. If the crime was done to you, do not back down. Do not become intimidated. You will come to the bottom of it if you will be persistent, and you can see exactly what it takes to get through this stuff based on my case. They are deniers of extermination procedure against me, which I called MK Ultra in 2010. The first time I started to talk about MK Ultra. They are 16 years through the United Nations, through the Amnesty International, through the European Court for Human Rights, through the European Commissioners, through the European Human Rights Ombudsman, through the Europol and through the Interpol, through the US Justice Department of State, through the FBI and law enforcement and absolutely everything. Deniers, in complete denial of this procedure done on me. 16 years already are in a complete denial of it. So then you know that the only way that you can get through this is by basically absolutely dedicating, regardless in a position they put you in. Your mind to issues which pertain to your case. Every case might be different, but in this case of mine, you get a lot of knowledge about do and do not based on the stuff that I spoke about, how basically to interpretate a lot of scam I exposed, the way they brainwash, drive people, gaslight people, drive people absolutely insane. This is the first case like this that you can actually see in real life what this stuff looks like. Yeah. So yeah, I do have also a problem with this so-called, as you did talk about, these voices in the head. You know, it's important that you know how to articulate, how to properly explain this issue so they don't miscategorize you. Like I said, that motherfucker in psychiatric hospital Ljubljana, that Serbian animal already was, this is an animal from, private animal from Milan Kučan, from Robert Golov, from Borut Pahor. He was already saying that I complained to him the other day about voices in my head, that I hear voices. And he didn't do this once. He repeatedly did this stuff. And I really started to question him, when was that? Where exactly was that? I told him, no, it was not. And he insisted that I did. Like I didn't know what the fuck I was even talking about. Like I was completely absent with my mind, and I really did not know where the fuck I was and what went on with me. It's incredible, the violence that persists in this field of the psychiatry, in the psychiatrists, psychologists, clinical psychiatrists, psychologists, is unprecedented. And they manage to get away and do pretty much whatever the hell they want. You are next on my list. I didn't pay enough attention to the clinical psychiatry, psychology, but I guarantee you I will erase you. I complained to you, International Board of Psychiatrists. I send you complaints. I asked you nicely. I beg you. I did. I didn't only file for political asylums abroad. I send them, I explain them, I send them letters. I try to communicate with you in a civil way, and you simply ignored me. And it's time that we settle the differences. It's time for me to play psychiatrist. It's time for me to analyze you, the way you do stuff, the way you enforce for people to make decision, whether you are acting as a specialist, as a branch of mental health assistance to the people, or are you out there mainly to cover up for government crime? I wouldn't even call this for their elites and so on, because it was too many people implicated, involved in this, that I would blame for it all only on the elites. It's extremely criminal stuff that you went and you advocated genocide against somebody for your own well-being, for your splošno družbeno dobro, like they say in Slovenia, they say general wealth and good of the society. There is no such thing that you have the right to sacrifice people. That's a ritualism. That goes to the fucking mid-ages, long time ago. And indoctrinate people about the communism, socialism, and capitalism, and monarchism differences and so on. Take fucking responsibility for the crimes against humanity you have implicated yourself in. It's called crimes against humanity, not splošno družbeno dobro. I should say general good for the society. It's not. It's not. It's a crime against humanity, and you're going to take responsibility for it. I just said I'm going to put this stuff already on the internet. No, I'm not putting anything on the internet. Fuck that. Igor Juršič and Andrej Štefanič, but especially Igor Juršič. Igor Juršič was the craziest motherfucker involved in MK Ultra procedure. He was shaking in my face, promising me death through the cancer. Next to Robert Golob, the second craziest motherfucker involved in it was Igor Juršič. Igor Juršič, the last time together with the Štefanič, the way they poisoned like this, was still in 2010, 2011. It started with the blood sausages, it started in 2008 and it lasted until 2011, and it was by far the most effective way to spread the cancer. He was talking about Igor Juršič, literally shaking my face, like what you did. He was blaming me for absolutely everything. And we're gonna kill you, and we're gonna kill you, and we're gonna kill you, like this. So if you promised me so many times that you're gonna kill me through the cancer poisoning, and you were violent, you are the one who grabbed me like this and let's go and we're gonna do this and so on. This is the way it was during MK Ultra. If you were the one, which you did started to video record yourself doing exactly together with Andrej Štefanič, exactly the opposite, teaching me on what is healthy and what is not healthy, after you threw me into the psychiatric hospital, posed next to me and started to talk what is healthy about and what is not healthy. After you had done what I described in this video, how the fuck can you be presenting yourself as somebody who was, because this is what they told me, and you're gonna come to the police station, as it happened in 2024, and you're gonna file against the Juršič and this and that, and what I will do, there was other people from management at Novo Mesto police station who told me, I will say, I will not do this, and the Ministry of Interior and so on. Ministry of Interior. This is what they accomplished by teaching me what is healthy and what is not healthy, how you're supposed to eat meat and that kind of stuff. That stuff was used literally for ministers, for people from Slovenian Ministry of Interior and management of the Novo Mesto police station to say to me, and you will come and you will file against Juršič. Even this kind of stuff was involved in MK Ultra. They brainwashed me. You will come and you will do it. And because they were talking to me this stuff during when Juršič was present, and Juršič was literally feeding me, giving me meat, giving me salad, giving me stuff that is supposedly, in a parenthesis, healthy stuff. And at the same time, I would have individuals talk to me, and you're going to come to police station, you're going to file a report against Juršič. And, you know, it was right there next to me, and the guy who was talking to me this, and he said, and I will not take your word for it. I will not. Meaning they also video recorded themselves when they talk to me like this, right? And I will not take your side against Igor Juršič. Basically pointing at Igor Juršič, how Igor Juršič was right there, right then, helping me out, assisting me with. So the Slovenes were making sure that even for the crime that took place in 2024, when I came repeatedly to the police station to file criminal charges against the entire police station and against Director Igor Juršič, they made sure that they would have some kind of proofs that actually these were the people that were worried for me. They tried to help me out, and I was out there to only get the people that were helping me all along. So this is how they misinterpreted in this case. It's the whole fucking thing pertains to absolutely everybody that was involved in it. People that were doing the damage were also become a people that became in charge on long-term involvement, became also at one point in time in charge for the government to video record them and prove exactly the opposite, as a people that were actually out there to even maintain my life, basically for me being alive. Listen, as I explained to you, I did not even like to eat bread of any kind. To make me eat bread, Josip Broz Tito introduced me to Italian pizza. They started to feed me with Italian pizza and with the burek. I didn't even like burek. I love burek, but it was time when I did not like one. The only meat I wanted to eat really was fish and white meat, healthy stuff. But because that posed a danger, a threat to cancer itself, which had to be introduced, they started to rape me when I was 6 years old with pizza, with bread, etc., which they believe that I'm going to start to eat quickly, that I'm going to start to get used to and eat that stuff. And I still did not. So I thought this is important stuff. I thought that this is important stuff to mention about this cancer issue, how this cancer issue, how it all started, how it was all spread. I told you about already in the childhood that they were stabbing in the areas of lymph nodes, that they were causing physical injuries, harms, and reviving it. At one point in time, I had Gregor Golob and other individual here from Novo Mesto, several of them inside of the kitchen actually squeezing me with the pliers, lymph nodes basically, when in high school and stuff like this. How the fuck you go and you squeeze somebody lymph nodes with the pliers? Where the fuck you get this kind of ideas? And then you go and you present yourself as somebody who was actually helping individual out and was maintaining him, not I'm gonna say free of cancer, but keeping him alive. You don't do this in this case. You might want to do this in some other case, but you're not going to do it in this case. Exposed. Case exposed. Talking voices and people, how they did this, why they did this kind of stuff, and how they even had ministers, management from Novo Mesto police station misinterpreting me while being video recorded by these people, in front of these people, in act of feeding me with the salad and with the meat, misinterpreting me, convincing me as far as the talking voices, and self-blame and that kind of stuff, on how they just won't see it my way. They will just not do it this way. This is like fucking ultra disgusting shit that I'm proud and happy to expose for all of you victims that are out there and will have no voice. That this being said, you have the right. I encourage you to stand up for your right. Do not fear, because the craziest stuff, the truth as twisted as it might be, the truth is 100 times more twisted than the truth said. This has already become a saying, a phrase for the people. It is true. It is true. The stuff that I expose, I did not even expose nearly as fucked up as it was. And the stuff that I exposed was, I don't know, those for you that read this stuff, this is of biblical proportion. This is exceeding crimes that they wrote about in the Bible and stuff like this. This is exceeding anything that I know of, I heard of, was used, enforced against somebody that was the environment, the society that would be so rotten, so criminal. Yet this is 2026. Don't think the thing get better in ethics, in a human conscious awareness and self-awareness, don't believe that kind of stuff. It's 2026. Our world became even more rotten. In certain cases, world became even more criminal, more rotten. It's a democracy, so every crime they do, they have to rationalize, they have to apologize, they have to rationalize. And that is actually what field of the psychiatry has a big, big meaning in it. They take a big cake, big. It goes everything under the Mental Illness Act nowadays. Boy, I almost did it. And why not to also give you this clip?
These animals were here already in this house also. And it was one inspector.
Dusan Harlander is a neighbor here. It's a physician, it's a doctor. Do you know this animal was involved in this case since I was a child? Well, what is the point about this? This is the last thing I'm going to mention. These animals, these physicians, doctors, these animals, these beasts, they were coming inside of our house like gods. They saw themselves as gods, as lords, as gods, literally as gods. Once, especially, I was thrown into the psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje in 2012. These physicians, these doctors, saw themselves as gods. Actually, beginning like 2006, when I left the United States of America because of practically what it turned into a more and more unemployment, these people started to see themselves as gods, talking about the Slovenian people here. They were coming inside of the house and they demanded from me to see in them gods. Once it became evident I would be thrown into psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje, sometimes like in 2010, that was basically my second return from the United States of America. Especially this physician who met me at the Novo Mesto police station in 2006, in 2024. He was, since like 2006, he started to, I have to think about this individual when he even became a physician. I have to be very careful with that stuff. He wanted me to see in him physician already for a very long time. Yes, because if you want to prove that somebody is a paranoid, a schizophrenic, then you have to misguide him on timing. Even if you're going to talk about him as per when did he finish his school, when did he got his, even a driver license. He was brainwashing me on how he got his driver license for the ambulance vehicle and such. I don't know what year was it. Just saying it out of my head, I think in 2010, 2011, something like that. I have to pay attention to that stuff. I did not take time to investigate that issue. I know, but there is so much other stuff that I am into. And what they would do is, they literally, when they would come inside of the house, they demanded from me to track every word that they say, it was less paranoia. It was less paranoia. When it comes to physicians, doctors, interacting with them inside of the house, they had a different kind of issues on their mind. It was different kind of stuff. It was misguiding on health, pertaining to the health, on how view things. So I did not notice them talking they always made sure they could cover their ass. They didn't talk some stupid shit. Basically shit so stupid that it would become evident that they are lying. They were very, very cautious about that stuff. I noticed it, that talking to them, for me, was in a way, it was mind relieving, because they were not bursting from the violence, and because they were not, because this was so violent. This stuff was just so violent, and not always, like I explained. And because they didn't come up with the completely crazy, wild theories, like Robert Golob, for instance, he had completely wild stuff. Robert Golob would give clues. He would give the clues. Wild, crazy stuff. And on top of it, if I did ask them questions about certain issues, while they would not take time to answer the questions as asked, they would circle around and they would find their own way to lie, misinterpret it, basically. They would at least give you some idea about what kind of physical condition you are at. Do you understand me? But this was so fucked up that the uncertainty was like one of the biggest factors they were using. It was done in such a way that you would not even know, my God, you wouldn't fucking even know about how bad of a physical shape you're in, because they terrorized all the time about issues. Like it felt like you are not even, like I earlier mentioned, in two pieces. Like greatly exaggerated in one way, and greatly underestimated and misexplained, lied about. I could feel cold inside of my intestines. You feel cold. When it's all rotten inside, you feel cold. You feel cold, man. You know what the fuck is it? To feed you on one particular food for 1 week and give a little time lapse in between and again enforce the same food in order to cause damages through the use of that food. They were giving me to eat cherries like for 3 days, nothing other than cherries. And they did the same thing with the peaches, with the father's peaches. And they claim me that if you only eat peaches, that it will cure the cancer, it will kill the cancer cells and stuff like this. They were big on giving me clue on, they were starving me for 1 week straight. They were starving me for 1 week straight and went on to claim that starvation like this kills cancer. That kind of stuff. And then they were overloading with the vitamins. And they came up with the idea that you have to take, I don't know how many vitamins, kinds of stuff for your lymph nodes to even be alive and so on. This was a fucking madness. Madness. This is the stuff they were doing during MK Ultra. And all this stuff was supervised literally by the psychiatrists. This fucking guy, the neighbor, the physician, he demanded like a Gestapo inside of the concentration camp or something like this. Respect, that type of respect. This is the type of respect that these physicians, doctors demanded. I should say attention, and based on the attention they got, sprdovanje. Sprdovanje is Croatian expression for farting, basically in the face to somebody. That's what they would do in return for the attention they obtain. These are fucking animals. Fucking animals. Physicians, doctors. You're not immune in this case. Of course I'm going to go after you. I don't allow this kind of stuff. Damn, and I was sure, that's it. This time I said to myself, that's it. No, let's finish this properly. As I was doing this stuff, and I found here, it was like a piece of saliva here, right side. And I did like this, and it became messy. This mold here that you see, this stuff here. And I recalled when I was exactly at the table where I'm at, sitting right next to Igor Juršič, I think it was, or it was, might have been some other police officer. Igor Juršič, I think for sure Igor Juršič was also involved in this one, because this was not done only once. And he said to me, why don't you clean this? He said to me during MK Ultra. This is exactly how they talk to you. Why don't you clean this during MK Ultra? why aren't you cleaning this stuff during MK Ultra? It was all messy from mold that you would. And he said to me, why don't you clean? Why didn't you clean this stuff? It's like as if this would be your computer, as if this would be using as you if this was your computer. Do you understand me? This is the way they talk during MK Ultra. This is how police talked to me during MK Ultra. He said to me, why didn't you clean this? See, I told you the other day already that you should clean this. Why didn't you clean this? That's exactly how I talk to you during MK Ultra. Of course, that this was not my computer. They had multiple computers. One computer was when Slovenian police was working with me, investigators, police, when they were sitting next to me in front of the computer. And there was also a computer for Americans, for the people like Bill Gates, for the people like, for the wealthier people, they sit not only for the wealthier people. You have so many people, young people. Shakari, for instance, was involved with this. The people that I saw on the Facebook, sports people, actors, and so on, and they would also sit with me. All kinds of people they would have from the States, wherever they would have me. These people would come into the house, they would sit in front of the computer, and they would talk to me about whether journalists, about or people that would be involved in crimes and stuff like this, and you would have to identify them based on your MK Ultra assignment. In parentheses, you're fucking insane, by the way, all of you. And they had a special request asking for the police to give the right computer for them. No, sir. They would not go and touch this stuff. They would not do this kind of stuff. What they gave me the instructions on how to keep the computer clean. There is a video I saw the other day. They posted under basically copy-paste of the brainwash pertaining to MK Ultra, which they rehearsed. Of course, the time, the date of that video, which was posted on the internet, yes, of course, it's different. But the same person, the same text, the same blah, 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 blah during MK Ultra that Joe Biden have delivered me to in the States to give me instructions on how the computer has to be kept up clean. Even not Andreja Jerichova, but Mateja Jerič, now a ghost worker, which commuted herself from Ljubljana to Novo Mesto. She is from here, from Novo Mesto, and was once employed at Home for Elderly People in Novo Mesto. Even when she ghost commuted herself to Home for Elderly People and acted like a director of the Home for Elderly People in front of me at Home for Elderly People, where the police tortured me. She said to me, "You're not going to have anything. Why will we take you seriously?" They created all kinds of tensions and hoped for there will be a physical response from me on Home for Elderly People, even director employees and so on. And humiliated and said, "Why would I take you seriously when you're not going to have nothing other than that moldy computer?" And she went, and I was sitting at a table in a dining room, in a dining area at Home for Elderly People, and she would go like this. "You see this? You see this?" Like this, she would say to me. "Do you see this? You see how it is?" And me in the face, and was laughing like this to me. "Why would we take you seriously?" This is the way this stuff was with these physicians, doctors, university graduates. Dr. Hollander, as a physician, as a doctor, your job was to assist, just like every one of you animals. Not to walk inside of the house of the target individual and present yourself as somebody because of whom that to an individual, to me, this is what you were doing to me. Present yourself as somebody because of whom this victim, this tortured victim, is even still alive, because you acted yourself as more educated, as more as a higher human being than those animals from Novo Mesto police station, neighbors all kinds of MK Ultra animals, staff members, I should say, they were coming here, involved in torture outside of the house where most of the torture went on. This was not your job to go inside of the house and interact with all kinds of people that will be coming from all walks of life background in the house, or basically giving them impression that the whole thing is legitimate, that it's okay, that you're educated person, that you're a doctor, that you're a physician, asserting to the people your how would I say this in English? Self-assurance, like you know what the fuck you're doing, like this is normal. This was not your job, sir. With your criminal conduct, you helped expand this criminal circle and make things beyond impossible for me to survive this. This was not even to say about certain physical threats that you involved in MK Ultra pertaining to my niece's husband, Mitya Weber, and stuff like this, that you physically threatened me even, and stuff like this. This is just really not part of your profession as a physician, as a doctor. You breached code of ethics, everything that pertained to your medical profession. It's incredible because of the scum like yourself, how far this case have gotten, what actually developed out of this shit. You're in no fucking position, whether you work for whatever agency. What agency was this here? This is an agency which was deeply implicated in this crime. They were very, very implicated in this stuff. They were very, very implicated. This is just
Is the one here.
For me to...
It's right there, inside of the hole.
Yeah. The further that I progress with the facts, the less I am willing to take any kind of chances, because I remember how you misinterpreted everything. Nacionalni laboratorij za zdravo okolje in hrano. This is a national lab for a healthy environment and food. Insisted on how they're going to investigate everything on how I live, how everything is, food is, and so on. If it's my fault or it's not my fault, and so on, and that kind of stuff. They were driving crazy, man. This is like you release on somebody million ants, and those ants would crawl all over the person and eat one out, man. Put person out of the skin on a million occasions, basically. That's what MK Ultra is. And so, yes, I am unwilling to just generalize as I did at the beginning of all this stuff. I was just gathering my fucking shit together to explain this mindlessness that was done. Now I became more concerned about how I express myself. Do I properly describe everything and stuff like this? It's like the finesse, you know, which is a... I read another article that is in my head right now. It was on the Yahoo today. I using the Yahoo because Yahoo was a brokerage company that was owners, everybody from Yahoo, CEOs, everybody was involved in Yahoo. And I don't know where I read that stuff, but it was something that they established. People are... Yeah, it's, you know, the way people... All right, it's not going to come to me right now. It's not going to be okay, but there's no science in it. This is no science. If I would have done it any other way, I would have been an idiot. Everybody does it this way. There's no science to it. The science is to have sanity enough left in you so that you can properly describe this insanity. That's a science. And yes, it's a really sad day when you have physicians, doctors, and so-called psychiatrists, psychiatry enforcing stuff like this. It's a sad day for humanity, but nothing really is sad. You can see what's happening and in Gaza and in Ukraine and so on and so forth. You can see everything about the stuff that goes on. Thanks for watching this video. Laptop is going to get video of its own. This is a long history. I already published, uploaded the video to the internet, but that video still needs to be upgraded and updated because there's just so much more stuff that pertain to this laptop stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching again. Was the video pertaining to the maybe blood sausages, to Andrej Štefanič, the funny man, funny, right? Štefanič, funny, Štefanič, Andrej Štefanič, Igor Juršič. He was shaking on belief on why I had to be killed. Why I had to be killed. He was one of the people, Igor Juršič was one of the people that acted like this in front of my father, like a schizophrenic, and asserted why I have to be killed. Why you have to be killed? Literally like this. Why you have to be killed? And it was always had something to do with Barack Obama, way before Barack Obama even became a president. Ooh, Barack Obama became a president in 2009. We came from Chicago right here to Novo Mesto in 2008. And apparently that I did not agree to suck dick from Barack Obama. Not literally, but Barack Obama, yeah, literally even pedophilia that goes back to Kenya when I was a child. And Barack Obama was using me to travel to Kenya. I could even say this. But in 2008, it's like Barack Obama demanded for me to see in him God, literally. Black dictator as a God. American president. It was already decided in Chicago during my stay in Chicago. I arrived in March of 2008 that Barack Obama is going to be, not in March, but that summer was decided he's going to be the next president. That I need to be killed for not going down on knees, like I said, in front of Barack Obama and do him a blowjob, literally. It was decided by Igor Juršič that I needed to be killed, and did so right in front of my father, shaking, like he was deliberately giving this kind of like imitating like rage madness. It's like you must eat shit. Now you will be poisoned, and you must, because you did this, you will now eat poison. You will now cancer. This was Igor Juršič, the same guy who posed in front of me after they expand the cancer through this area here, all this area here. You can feel one here, this and so on. After they expanded the cancer and even threw me inside of the psychiatric hospital down Apolia, where I couldn't move, where I had a difficulty talking to you, moving jaws. Oil dripping out of my scalp because of the pain. Those psychiatric medications, if those are medications, were administered to me. Difficulty walking because of the pain that psychiatric medications were causing me. Do you know what is a difficulty even walking? Saliva running out of my mouth uncontrollably, like a stream. When I think about the stuff these people did with me, and when I think about the police officers Igor Juršič, Štefanič, Zajšek laughing in my face, Božičnik laughing in my face, investigators laughing in my face. When I think about investigators, psychiatrist Peter Kapsch literally laughing in my face and using the horror, the atrocity, physical atrocity done on me in Ljubljana Polje. Use one to embed one into lights flashing and stuff like this, and all kinds of threats. You remember when I spoke about the physicians, how the physicians were coming inside of the home and presented themselves as gods, demanded that type of attention and so on. When I think about that kind of stuff, I could go on and on, ladies and gentlemen, but this is not what the video is about. This was about, even if you like, blood sausages instead of cancer. And this was the video about Zoran Mudža. I wouldn't even call this. It was not the only one, though, I know. So, like you say, putting somebody words in his mouth. Talking voices, the so-called talking voices. Yeah, I could, just as I said, I could tell more about this stuff, but thanks for watching this video. This guy, Igor Juršič, I have no idea what exactly did. Barack Obama promised me back in Chicago, it was extremely, extremely bad stuff that Barack Obama promised me in Chicago back then. He didn't have to promise me much for these animals from Slovenia who were there to get me killed, but whatever he told me, he did told me that I will die, that I'm finished. That's what Barack Obama did said to me back then in 2008. Whatever he said to me, it was enough for the Slovenian police to take drastic measure and expand this cancer issue into this area here, into this whole area here. Yeah. 2008, 2009, and 2011, they diligently work on spreading this here. And they measured absolutely everything they measured, scanned whatever they were doing. Hospital-wise, whatever the hell they were doing. The hospital is... they took me inside in there wherever and whenever the fuck they wanted. There was no mystery about it. The same shit like a home for elderly people, like a prisoner. Like a prisoner. Like a prisoner. They were using hospitals and hospital here in Novo Mesto at their convenience. That's it. And private dental office Novljan and other healthcare facilities throughout the Slovenia. Prior to Novljan, the guy at Žabjevas was the one who destroyed my tooth. Whatever they needed is, they got it. That's all there is to it. Very important to me to mention Barack Obama had absolutely everything to do with this also. This was a poster boy hired by the British Royals, by George Bush, by Americans, Bill Clinton and others to finish me off. Barack Obama. Yeah, 2010, Igor Juršič will be responsible for this stuff directly. You don't have to worry about my eating healthy or not healthy food. By now, everybody understands that the biggest problem in this whole thing were exactly the physicians, doctors, police that was the one that was doing this kind of stuff. I will not forget the physician who came to pick me up in 2024 on October the 30, 2024, with the idea to hospitalize me at the request of Miran Sudin from Ministry of Interior. When he even gestured me that a garlic, which they would be using during MK Ultra, they were also using a garlic. I went to buy myself a salad, spinach, 2-3 days ago, and I ate this spinach, raw spinach, and I was sure that it's the first time that I eat the raw spinach in my life. I was so excited because I read on the internet that you can eat a raw one. Now, the truth is that during MK Ultra, they were administering me also a raw spinach. This was Igor Juršič who actually told me that he will be quiet about the raw spinach so that they wouldn't be doing the same thing to me with the raw spinach as they were doing with other stuff that I told you about, how they forced me to eat for extensive periods of time. Another issue that was used to spread the cancer throughout this area here is they make me eat raw garlic, extremely raw, that it would fucking expand pain from my mouth and so on. In the neighbor Metod Yerman, who always was present, always in everything Metod Yerman was present, and not only witnessed but enforced this stuff, believe this is going to be good to spread the cancer on the throat area, to the mouth area, through the gums and stuff like this. They talked a lot about this cancer spreading to the brain. Americans hallucinated a lot about how this cancer is going to spread into the brain and that kind of stuff. So those are just issues that we need to discuss. You need to be held responsible for that, and you need to answer the questions in respect to those issues. Showing me the fucking pictures about me, not me in the future being bleeded, the hospital connected everywhere, and I don't know, assuring me that I am dead. You're dead. This is it. Once the cancer spread, you're dead. You're dead. They demanded from me to take for granted that once the cancer spreads, you're dead. You're dead. They were the one spreading the cancer. What do you have to say about this? That you are the one who was spreading the cancer. And I exactly describe in this video how you are spreading the cancer. Call it a blood sausage video or call it talking voices in my head. This is what I had to say about it all. The entire breakdown of the so-called talking voices, and call it a fucking blood sausage. You guys are definitely... You're not mentally ill. You're not crazy. We have seen this shit done in concentration camps. We have seen this shit done in Raw Barbara, or the Slovenian communist barbarism partisans, what they were doing this stuff. This is not to advocate the white guards who loved this case. The white guards, the neo-Nazis, loved this case because they wanted to prove the wrong to the communists, to the leftists. This is what this is. At the end, you're just a human being against beasts. Beasts! You're just a human being against the beasts. And the communists and the neo-Nazi, the colonialists, they work together, my friends. They work together. They have the common interests. What is their interest? What those interests? They are brothers in arms. Trust me. Yeah, I know, but it's really, actually, it's important. Man, I'm fucking uploading this stuff again, and I'm gonna have to do it again. It's gonna be again. Since doctors that spoke to me about what I have to tell even about health-wise about the stuff. Yeah, they were using the physician who came to hospitalize me in 2024 on October the 30th, the Miran Sudinis physician. Milan Kuchan is private physician from Robert Golob. In other physicians, like physician that was playing with the oxygen, he was administering me oxygen. That animal was exceptional too. He was animal that actually made me hurt. It hurts me, this area here inside, when they put that oxygen. Painful, literally. From the oxygen torture, the animal who came at home for elderly people. When they started to play with father oxygen, which father needed the oxygen. The neighbor here, Harlander, and many others, physicians from General Hospital Novomes and so on, and even the physicians from the US, they talked to me about how impossible it's going to be to describe the stuff that went on with me, health-wise, the symptoms, because they knew that they were creating injuries. The police was creating injuries. Many physicians from the US, I had impressions, did not even understand where this kind of stuff is coming from, what is happening. They, in a way, even whether they like it or not, they had to go with the official story about how I eat shit food, that kind of stuff. Were convincing me, and demanding from me to take the point of view of my not even having the ability to describe about the stuff, they wanted me to shut up about the poisoning. They demanded from me to shut up, and they said to me like this, they said to me, you will be describing the stuff, your health symptoms and stuff like this, but what's going to happen is you will make so many mistakes about telling about the stuff that it was, that eventually your truth will become completely irrelevant. Prince William told me that, basically laughed in my face, and he was not the only one, it was others too, physicians. They gestured me that I will, Prince Charles, laugh in my face in respect to this issue, together with William. They were laughing in my face. They told me that you will tell the whole thing, you will tell, and you will tell the truth. But this is how they played down. They ridiculed. They totally ridicule this stuff. Today, I understand they ridiculed. Back then, I did not. Back then, I was taking them like somebody who was concerned and was trying to tell me something useful. But the way they really meant it was that you will tell, eventually you will tell what it was, but you will tell in such a way that it will play no significance, because it will come out. Of course, this is MK Ultra procedure, systematically. As you will recall the memories, they didn't want to talk about that stuff, but they tried to portray me like some fucking dementiac that will talk all kinds of stuff that I was brainwashed with Hollywood people posing all the time about their cancer problems, all kinds of problems, and even how they died, not only how they went on surgeries and all kinds of medical procedures to which they had me witness to during MK Ultra. So they said, yeah, you will eventually, like in a way, yeah, you will tell everything, but the people will disregard it because of so many different stories that you will change. I don't change any fucking story. Everything that I thought, it was exactly the way it was. And in a way, as I was brainwashed to see things as, finally, I'm not a physician, and even the doctors, physicians from the US that were coming here in our house, inspecting these symptoms and issues, they couldn't understand and find really a clear answers to those health problems. This will be like if you suffer from pain in the heart when leaning on the right side, which was the case nowhere more than in psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje, when they started to administer me psychiatric medications, I thought that my heart is going to explode from the pain also. The only way for me to sleep was on my back or even leaning to my right side. But when they break your spine so much, damage the spine so much that you cannot lean on the right side, you cannot even do that. Or using the left foot, left leg as a support when ascending to the hill, uphill, or whenever experiencing big pain in my spine, in my legs, because of, if just walking, because of the injury that was done on my disc, on the right side of the disc, became no longer useful to me because of the injury that was also created in my left foot. I did spoke to you about that one. And because of the injury that was created on my shin, on my left shin. They created like a zigzag of issues that whatever was good for one side, it was bad for the other side. And wherever, or I should say, number of the injuries on the left side and number of the injuries on the right side. They created a poetry out of this butchery. This was a butchery. This is a regular butchery. Finally, I couldn't even lift myself from the rest. I don't have the bed. I sleep on the floor. I told you about that. I couldn't, and I have to do this. It's good for my spine. I couldn't even lift myself anymore as I used to, of course, because of the torsion, using as a support my right hand and lift myself up with the right hand. This really is right hand. I don't know how is the Android. I couldn't even do that stuff because of the pain in the spine. As every time I would do this, it would create injury in my spine. Totally copy-paste issues pertaining to MK Ultra. These are all the issues we have gone through during MK Ultra. Really, I'm telling you, copy-paste everything. And I had to roll over to the left side, and then through the left side lift myself up with a hand so that I would not trigger the pain in my right side if using the right hand to pull myself up. Just to trigger the injury pertaining to, what's this guy from MMA, Tito Ortiz, that Robert Golub literally hired. He became a mayor in some city over there in the Florida for breaking me elbow, basically kicking me into the elbows and dislocating me a bone, the upper bone here in this area. So whatever was good for one thing, it triggered another injury. And so now you have to find where you're going to paddle with it between those injuries. But this British royals, this is exactly what as I describe on this blog, on this journey, MK Ultra journey. These are fucking animals. These are fucking animals. Read about eternally grateful pertaining to Reza Pahlavi. Eternally grateful. Charles eternally grateful Read about Reza Pahlavi, who was using me to scout Iran. He had another individual, his designee, that would video record and scout Iran together with the CIA and give him all the information so that Reza Pahlavi would then also enter Iran before the war on Iran was scheduled. Reza Pahlavi entered Iran with me on a regular basis beginning 1996. But before 1996, he designated me completely other individual with whom I would scout Iran and inspect everything. He entered also Iran before that, but really Reza Pahlavi started to enter Iran in 1996 when Central Intelligence Agency already had scheduled war with Iran. And in the last moment, in the last second, through the 9/11 too, 9/11 should have taken place way before. In the last moment, 9/11 was diverted because of the Saddam Hussein's urgency, his invasion on Kuwait. Read about eternally grateful Charles, now King Charles, back then but Prince Charles, for giving Reza Pahlavi the ability to see his homeland, Iran. His homeland. Yeah, it was about the homeland. He was so homeland sick. Reza Pahlavi was so homeland sick. He was not out there to kill people, to murder people, to slaughter Iranian people. No, no, no. The reason why he was thrown out of Iran, overthrown out of Iran, was no. He was just homesick. He craved for his homeland, motherland so much. Eternally, read about that one. Eternally grateful is what Charles told me. Eternally grateful to giving the Reza Pahlavi. Reza Pahlavi, he saw himself in a Reza Pahlavi, claiming to Reza Pahlavi, claiming me in front of Reza Pahlavi because he even physically looked like him, and he said that sick shit. Stuff was so fucking sick with Igor Juršič, director of the Novo Mesto police station, who posed in Amazona to this natives, Amazonian natives. I don't like to say Indians because they're natives. They're really from there. People. Completely innocent people. He posed to them like a big Indian chief. He did some bunga bunga with the ladies over there in Amazona. He basically polluted the population, the Indian population over there. He destroyed any kind of interaction with the indigenous people that should keep their faces exactly the way it is, and their nature, their land is destruction. It's a pollution. And this idiot Slovenian went there to fuck around, to do the stuff, and pose because of his facial features. He claimed that he looked like an Indian and stuff like this. You don't understand what kind of animals exactly we are talking about here. With Robert Golob, who bought a video recorder for these tribes. He bought him a video recorder. Americans promoted him as somebody who was a pioneer in helping Amazonian natives, buying them a video recorder so they could video record the stuff that the gringos, the whites, which is disgusting. It is disgusting. The Brazilian government, you're fucking disgusting for doing this to the native people in Brazil. So they could see God in Robert Golob and stuff like this. Yeah, oh my God, you don't fucking understand what the hell this shit is. What kind of animals these are. You know about the dinosaur, about the Tyrannosaurus, all kinds of whatever dinosaurs and fucking shit, Jurassic Park. This case, they call this case Jurassic Park. For the reason, they call it also Jurassic Park, this case. It's fucking absolutely fucking animals, not intrusive, but the humans. You want to know what the humans are? Then watch this program. That's where you learn what the humans are. This is Shitosaurus, Drecosaurus. going in your face, motherfuckers. Unprecedented stuff. All right, again, I'm gonna say thanks for watching this video. Just learn. That's all I gotta say. And we're not gonna misunderstand each other with this stuff. Yes, of course, you can have a sexual intercourse with a girl from Amazonas, from Indian tribes in the US or whatever, but make sure that you also take care of her by taking her out to your home. Because if she wants to be with you, with your child, she has no place anymore to be over there. It is just as simple, because these people need to keep their original, they are special people, and they are not protected. They have no way to protect themselves like Germans or Scandinavians or let's say Chinese, Asians, Japanese, people that are different, that are special enough to live in a certain, or black people in Africa, let's say. That's already very bad stuff that's been done to them, because they crossbreeded too much, and the original species will vanish. Yeah, you understand me what the hell I'm trying to say. That they're very, very, very different people. I found them very interesting and very original, and it just has to be preserved. You can't just go. Slovenian side, when I was talking about this stuff, they were laughing at me. Well, do you know what means to white out? White out? The white out means to deliver white trash and to bleach the whole race of the people. Whatever you don't kill, whatever you don't exterminate, is you throw your people so they lose their original face, their original identity, and then you bleach them out, basically, out of the society. So this is not to be done with these people. It's nothing wrong if you want to have it. Yeah, I mean, given that she wants to be with you and so on. But you have to bring home to your civilization with your child or whatever and live over there with her. Not that you're going to go and move over there in them and destroy the whole legacy of these people that are just out there surviving, basically. Going from generation to generation, they are being pushed into non-existence. The rainforest people, the people, the natives and so on. You can't be fucking doing this kind of stuff. It does not work when you go and you pull your dick out of your pants, your filthy penis, and just go and just stick it into the ladies. That does not work like this, you fucking animal, Slovenian. Filthy pig. That does not fucking work like this. And you did this stuff all over the place, you did. You fucking scum. The psychiatrists, they have used all the time, they used issues. They all the time they used issues. They all the time they used issues that are that were used for me to back down. They intimidated during MK Ultra on certain issues for which they believed that that I will shy away, that I will back down, that it will be so intimidating for me that what's going to happen is I will just try to pretend I am normal. I'm going to try to explain to you more. I give you a little bit overview about what I'm trying to say to you. Okay, there were certain issues that they were using with idea to intimidate, like the issues that would pertain to general issues, like language, not language so much, yeah, language also, they try to intimidate with the language, use of language. They were like ambulance vehicles, let's say, were used at large. They try to intimidate, and they try to intimidate with all kinds of, I told you about lights, all kinds of stuff like this they were using. crazy stuff that they were. It doesn't come to me exactly the specific case right now that I could use, but psychiatrists, Peter Kapsch, and police, they were certain that there will be issues that they interpreted as the issues. Oh, the food, let's say, the food, chips, chocolate, and stuff like this. They bullied on that stuff. They were using them during MK Ultra, and take me inside of the stores on shopping regularly. Psychiatrist Kapsch would take me on a shopping so that he could misinterpret that other people misinterpreted me. Issues. Police. Juršič. They would do the shopping and stuff like this, and I had to be with them. And with my mom and with my father. As my mom and my father would be shopping, they would have people that would come to me and talk to me about this stuff and intimidate it. And then back home, they would intimidate. All kinds of stuff like this went on. Or even wait inside of the car for my parents to do the shopping and come, and this kind of stuff. And they would try to intimidate with the sellers, let's say, with people looking at the register or employees saying to me they were using them. They were also using employees, register, cash register people, all kinds of people to intimidate with on what it will be like if I see you buying a chips, or I see you buying a chocolates, or I see you buying cookies. We have a lot of Eurospin people at Interspar, people at the Lidl, people at Hofer, Mercator, intimidating workers, employees, intimidating on the issue on what it will be and what it shall be, and what if I see you buying this and that and so on. And all kinds of people, they would get customers and all kinds of people from Eurospin and so on, that they would come inside of our house and talk about the health problems and stuff like this. Oh, this swinery is unlimited swinery. It's unlimited swinery. This is queen of all the swineries that existed in the history of the world. You'll be having fucking neighbors and fellow city people and fellow men, fellow countrymen and stuff like this. It's unfucking precedented shit that went on. They intimidated with. Gesturing that they will be monitoring and stuff. I told you about how they said they're going to put the cameras inside of the toilet so they could see my ass when I would shit, whether it's diarrhea or it's solid. I told you about that kind of stuff. Oh, ha, ha, ha. This was just one of the issues, this issue here, stuff. This was one of the issues. This was one of the issues that they used. Psychiatrist Peter Kapsch admitted that he'll be using issues pertaining to the food and all kinds of other issues that he would harass with to intimidate. Enough. Even admitted that there will be instances, there was instances during which I remember police saying the traffic signs, they were using a traffic signs to intimidate. Not traffic signs, but drivers. Literally, I told you about the driver, how came behind me and started to horn on a stop sign like you're supposed to go without stopping on a stop sign and stuff like that. That was all based on MK Ultra scenario, for which they told me the driver that would do this stuff, they would have him talk to me and say to me, and I should just proceed driving on a stop sign. And he said, no, but you will do it anyways. So basically drive you so much that life would be just rolling in front of you and you would be acting basically on fear. You understand? Oh, well, intimidation, fear. This is exactly why I do not clean this computer. That's exactly why I do not clean the fucking computer. It's filthy, it's dirty, it's disgusting. Never had anything like this yet in my life. All through, they also went on to contaminate the computer I bought from the US. I made the whole video about this stuff. not to this degree, not like this. This was just a computer that was used parallel to the other computers that were used whenever they had people come in here and talk to me about their blah blah. Now you understand, I don't back down. I don't give a three fuck. I am concentrated on getting the job done. You can hope, you can try to intimidate me, but so far this has been, with so many intimidation attempts, falling so short, so off. You don't get any kind of progress. And what I do is, with this stuff, is I basically assert dominance, total dominance, the control. Not over the situation, but over my mind. That's what I do. That's why I don't clean. That's why I deliberately do not clean this stuff. When it comes to contaminated stuff like this and stuff, it might look gross or whatever. I don't give a three fuck about it. This is how you, who were brainwashing me on how you're going to clean and how you're going to do this, and you're going to basically what? Try to pretend that what? What exactly? Try to pretend about what? Try to pretend about what? For your sake, that I'm going to pretend something that I am not? And in this case, no, I'm not that filthy person, but still that you try to explain like I would be pretending something that I'm not, and that because of intimidation, because of all the stories that you embedded in this thing, that I will be doing something and so on, basically hiding the evidence out of the sight, the criminal evidence out of the sight for your sake, through intimidation, through harassment. You're viewing yourself in degree of pressure, amount of violence so big that I would be hiding all the criminal evidence from myself, basically, not only from the people. No, this stuff is not happening here. That's why. What I do instead is, yeah, I'm a very strange person, probably. I also do not play divide and conquer games like British royals believe that I'm going to be selecting between Harry and between Andrew and between Charles and that kind of stuff. I should say William. No, we don't do this kind of stuff. What I do is I bring you all into the same category. You understand the message? I don't like divide and conquer. This is for the weak people. This is for the people that it's a strategy, and for people who do this kind of stuff, this is weak people. This is for the weak people. When you're strong, when you know what you know, actually when you have what it takes, it's not about what you want, but when you have what it takes, you don't need any kind of games. You don't need any of that stuff. All you do is you do the stuff, basically, and that's what it comes to. Everything comes out the way it's supposed to. There is no need to take any shortcuts. The people who take shortcuts and aim low and settle for anything, they don't come anywhere. In a case like this, you don't fucking come anywhere. This case is so big, so disgusting, that if you don't tell the whole thing, everything the way it was, you don't come absolutely anywhere. And even so, you were able to learn in this video what police was doing to hide the evidence together with the Ministry of Interior, how they demanded certain brainwash. That's mental illness, actually, from me. They demanded certain degree of mental illness that would incapacitate me. Even as I would come to the police station to file charges against Igor Juršič, ex-director of Novo Mesto Police Station, they demand from me, based on a total denial of the right to the law enforcement, denial of the right to the laws, to the Constitution, to accept that no charge will be filed against him, because simply based on brainwash, based on the video recordings they created during stuff. So yeah, I'm thanking you for watching this video, but really what you do is you can thank me for it, because there's nothing other than not only to learn from, but even to get criminal evidence in case you know somebody or something is happening to you and so on. And I'm going to say, of course, again, Today I will. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like I want to send everything to hell. Thanks for watching this video. I stopped saying till next time because I think the ass kicking is going to about, it's not far from beginning of it, actual. I think that very soon we actually now, there were no threats at this point in time for me when it comes to MK Ultra, but I know, I don't give a fuck about those threats. I know for sure that we will be meeting in person, for sure, for damn sure, that you will be meeting me now in person, because I am the one in charge here. So I know for sure I don't even need to say till next time. I know exactly about all that stuff, but I know for sure, I'm so damn sure, because of so much stuff I placed on the internet, it's mind-blowing crime that is exposed, that for damn sure, because of the witnessing, because of the quality of the witnessing, that if as much as you want to hide, as much as you want to lie, whatever the fuck you want to do, there is no fucking way to find a way around. For sure, we will be meeting each other again. For sure, for damn sure.